Brought to you by Lister Pros TV, streaming from Tempe, Arizona. And we're live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning, everyone. Jordan Nielsen here on Real Estate Pros on Lister Pros TV. And today we have a very special guest, Naseem Mirza of Service First Mortgage. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about experience that builds confidence is what I got out of it. So I was talking earlier with Naseem about her, and she has a long time background in the real estate industry, and currently she's on the lending side of the business, but she's been on the other side, which helps understanding both sides of the transaction really helps bring value to your clients. So welcome to the show, Naseem. We'll give you a few minutes to introduce for those that don't know who you are.
Thank you for having me on here.
Yeah.
I am at Service First Mortgage. I've been in real estate and mortgages for about 15 years. So
you only look 15 years old. So you came out of the
kind of throw people off a little bit. So we one of the things that I love providing to my referral partners and my clients is the knowledge about both real estate and investing and mortgages. So I'm able to give them both sides of the transaction and the experience. I'm able to go into, if I'm working with one of my realtor partners, I'm able to go into their shoes and realize what's important for them, what they need in order to make the transaction extremely smooth and seamless.
Right. All right, so you talked about real estate, investing, and mortgage. Which one do you like best?
I like mortgages. I like all of them. Mortgages, I'm a numbers nerd, so I love just playing around and making, just seeing what works for my clients. I love being competitive in the market, being able to compete with other lenders. But most of all, I love providing my clients with the confidence, knowing that the biggest investment in their life is going to close and they're going to have the experience with very little stress just because of everything that I bring to the table.
Awesome. So why did you choose Service First Mortgage? We know there's like thousands of lenders out there. People are changing all over the place, but we have those big box. I'll call them big box, but you got Wells Fargo, B of A, Chase, these big banks that have big lending programs, and then you have these smaller, and I probably put Service First Mortgage in a smaller category. But why did you decide to go with Service First?
So Service First is one of those companies where they put their clients first. So you'll hear that from every mortgage company. But what I realized at my first meeting with them was the authenticity that they had to offer. It's a Dallas-based company, so it has a little bit of that whole
Go
family.
Cowboys.
Yeah, exactly. It has like a family feel to it. But of course, the feel and the company is very important, but also the procedures are extremely important, especially when you're looking at it from a real estate perspective. So they're making everything very efficient was very important to me. Their processes, in order, if one of my clients or my referral partners have a client with them and they want to see if they can apply right away, I just send them a link and they apply within 5 minutes on their smartphone. I can give them a pre-qual within 20 minutes.
That's awesome.
So especially on weekends, and their motto's S3, which is speed, service, and synergy. So it's working together to get the job done.
So speed, service, and synergy.
Yes.
Hold on, I was going to talk to you about. What was I going to talk to you about? I had a question for you, but about Service First. So how we know that the real estate industry as a whole is evolving. Lending as a whole is evolving as well. There's a lot of companies emerging like Rocket Mortgage and different things like this. But I really love, how people and companies are evolving, making the process so much easier on the lending side from an application standpoint. I think that's what I was going to say. I bought my first house back in '07, and the process was much more, a lot more tedious and labor intensive. And then recently, I bought another house, and I realized how the process has become so easy.
That's one of my favorite parts about lending right now. So I worked in lending for about 7 years in the early 2000s. And when I did that, it was back in the day before the crash. It was when property values were booming, and it was a busy time. And we would stand near the fax machine and wait for people to fax over documents. So no one had a smartphone. We would be calling landlines. I basically worked in the big box. I worked for Countrywide Home Loans and sales, and eventually went into management. Yeah. So it was an experience. It was great. When I went back I've been in real estate I've had my license for about 10 years. So after 5 years of mortgages, and when I was doing real estate, I decided to go back into mortgages for, not only do I love numbers, it's more or less it's so much more efficient. The only thing that I didn't like about mortgages was the lack of efficiency and the process.
Right.
I love the other stuff, but not the process. But now that the process has been completely streamlined, you can apply within 5 minutes on your smartphone. It's pretty exciting. You can get things done so fast, and then no one really stresses as much. Unless it's a borderline.
And you can get a lot more done, with the evolution of technology and systems that have come out. I think you have an interesting dynamic. What has been the difference between working with Countrywide and Service First? One, like in the industry as a whole, because back in the day, Countrywide was giving a mortgage to anybody with a pulse. You show up, all right, you have a pulse, you're approved. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what, those main differences between working at Countrywide in the lending area when that was going on, and then Service First in a 2017 approach to lending.
So with Countrywide, it was more or less, it was a call center based type of environment. Branch manager, we were nationwide. We went ahead and we made hundreds of calls every single day, and it was all refinance. Now, a lot of mortgage lenders are focusing on referral-based businesses. So what kind of gradually changed, I didn't want to go to Loan Depot or Quicken Loans or Rocket Mortgage, mainly because I'm not willing to sell my soul to the big box lenders.
Right.
More or less, I need a balance. I love a balance, and I want to be competitive. And that's one of my major things. If I'm going to give a product, I'm going to give a good deal on a product, and I'm not going to ask for a ridiculous amount of fees. I'm not going to have anything hidden. So those were some of the things that I was looking at. I decided if I'm going to go back into lending, I'm going to go back with a company that's small enough where you can be competitive, you can have a balance, like a work-life balance, but then you can also do everything efficiently online and give pre-quals within 5 minutes and not have to go around 10 different procedures in order to get one pre-qual.
Sure.
Where at the bank, sometimes you have to get all this paperwork done before you even type out anything. So that's my favorite part about this company, and obviously the authenticity that comes with working with a small company.
Awesome. So we also know that your background is in e-commerce. You had, I guess your own company that you talked about before? And you learned a lot on the online presence, but currently you help your referral partners with their online presence in e-commerce. So talk to us a little bit about that and the value that you bring around, you say social media, or I guess you can expand on whatever part of that.
Okay, perfect. While I was a few years after I had my first son, I decided I was going to test out e-commerce. It was when iPads first started coming out and a lot of different electronics. So I started importing these electronics from China. I found a good supplier. I started small. I started on Amazon. Then eventually, when I realized that this is something that's pretty profitable, I started my own site, and I had the opportunity to play around with SEO and analytics and rankings. So I realized the importance of this is me. It's a one-person company, but I look like a 500-person company, and that's with increased online presence, you can be one person and you can look ridiculously big. And that's
Sure.
what happened pretty much overnight. It was a Black Friday, and somehow it went from a $70,000 a year gross revenue product, or not product, but company, to $1 million company.
awesome.
So it was really something where it was.
Is this all you out of the
overnight.
garage, like
Yes, if
fulfilling?
you ask
you
my
were the
neighbors, they thought I
fulfillment
was selling
center 'cause
drugs or something. They're like, "What's going on in there?"
like, what are all those packages?
Yeah, and then eventually it went to like a warehouse. But so what I'm doing is I'm taking my previous mortgage background, my real estate background, and my e-commerce background, and I'm putting it all together, and I'm selling mortgages, but I'm helping my referral partners in creating the online presence. In order to provide value. And I do this over a 30-minute to an hour conversation. We just get our laptops out and we start working. And that's how that's pretty much one of my main focuses. And whether it's realtors, whether it's businesses, my company's based in Gilbert, and there's so many big businesses coming out there. So just doing different events too. We have a lot of different events that we work on.
So I like hearing the entrepreneur story. In the e-commerce side of your business, was Alibaba around at that time? Is that
Yes.
is that how you got your suppliers? Because I
Yeah.
dabbled in it a little bit, but I never had a full commitment. So I would import things in bulk and then sell them off. There's some arbitrage to be made there in the e-commerce, but it's awesome that you can apply kind of what you learned in that sphere in helping your referral partners grow their business as well and give them ideas because you have the experience, right?
Yep.
So let's talk a little bit about the 3 S's again. So it was what? Speed, service, and what was the last one?
Synergy.
And synergy. So talk to us about, obviously we touched a little bit on speed, which you guys make it really easy to transact with Service First. It sounds like the application process is pretty seamless and simple. We talked a little bit about service of the small thing where you're not having to get approval from 12 people to get one minuscule thing down. So talk to us a little bit about synergy and what that means at Service First Mortgage.
So everything's more or less a group effort. There's one thing that one person can get done, but then when you have a lot of people working together in order to accomplish one goal, it's done with a smile. It's done a lot easier, and it's done a lot more efficiently. So the biggest thing I noticed at a lot of other mortgage companies is you're kind of on your own. You're not working at a call center or just working on the phone and constantly trying to contact people or answering the phones, and you're working on a referral-based business, you need that group support. So not only is there the support with the company and your coworkers, it's also in order to get something done with your referral partners and get a client closed, it's all everything works out a lot better when it's group work, a group effort. And it stood out to me the most because being a realtor, a lot of times you are on your own, and you make your own schedule. When I was doing a lot of e-commerce stuff, you're on your own and you're making your own schedule. You're just working, you're hustling every single day. But then when you have a team to hustle with, it makes it so much more fun.
Sure.
So that was another great thing about choosing mortgage Service First.
Sure. So obviously you have the real estate background. What was your favorite part about being in real estate? Not on the lending side, but as a real estate agent.
My favorite part, so for a few years while I had the e-commerce stuff going on, I did it part-time, and then over the last 2 years I decided to do it full-time. My favorite part when I did it part-time was investing. I worked with a lot of investors, again, because I'm a numbers person.
Sure.
And just calculating out the potential profits on the rental income and just working with clients.
So were you buying
their goals.
for a specific client? You're just looking for deals that made sense for them?
Yeah, during the market crash, it was just a lot of flipping for clients and myself, and then also finding properties to hold on to and to calculate if there's going to be some kind of rental good revenue, a safe investment. Even with my my previous buyers, it was more or less trying to make sure that they feel safe in their investment. And at the end of the day, my favorite part wasn't necessarily showing the houses or selling the houses. It was knowing that my clients were so happy at the end. I have one of my cheerleaders. I sold him a house about 2 to 3 years ago, and I was able to convince him that he would qualify for a mortgage. He was a veteran, and he never realized that he would even be able to qualify. He was just like, I can't be a homeowner. It's like, you can. 5 houses. He found a house. It's appreciated about $50,000.
Awesome.
And at least every week he'll give me a call and he'll be like, thank you for giving me a home. And so it's one of those things where those are the moments when you're like, whoa, this is worth it.
Yeah.
So those were some of my favorite parts about real estate. And now I'm just excited. I'm doing it on the numbers side. By being a loan officer, I'm able to help both on the real estate side and the investment side,
Sure.
which is really exciting.
All right, so now we know that there are a ton of lenders and a ton of options, and so in your partners, so why do people choose to do business with Naseem? So I'm saying that because somebody may be frustrated with their current lender or looking for another options. Why choose Naseem and Service First?
Okay, so what I would say is for the experience and the rates.
You guys beat, yeah.
Yeah,
okay, awesome.
we're pretty competitive. I always, when I was a realtor, I would tell my clients to shop around. And I love it when I have clients that are shopping around because I'm able to match or beat them, but then on top of that, provide a service that is exceptional, but seamless and efficient. And then a lot of times throughout a real estate transaction, be it 30 days, 45 days, we close in 20 days too. A lot of our transactions we can get done in
20 days,
21
that's
days.
quick.
Yeah, it's crazy. But the main thing is through a lot of times being on the real estate side, you see that the clients do get stressed out. They get cold feet before closing on their first home or second home. They don't know if they're making a good investment. So providing the calmness, that energy, the calm energy to the whole transaction itself, it doesn't make it stressful for my buyers or my clients. And it doesn't make it stressful for the realtors either because they feel a little bit of comfort when they're working with me, if that makes sense. They're like, well, she knows what she's doing. This is going to get done. And it's going to get done without the stress that I would have if it was this huge, ridiculous bank or big box mortgage company. But then it's like supporting the local businesses, and a lot of times local businesses don't charge as much when it comes to their margins. If I'm selling a product from a store next to Sprouts, my margin of $5 is okay versus another company that's selling it with a bigger company that's selling the same product, but they need a margin of $10 to cover all their costs.
They have a lot of overhead. So awesome. So if somebody out there wants to give you a shot or pick your brain about something, how do people get a hold of you?
They can give me a call. They can send me an email. My phone number is 203-512-8633.
203.
Yes,
Hold on a second. Where are you from?
I'm from Connecticut.
Ah, nice. East Coast. Man, I've had a lot of East Coast people on the show recently. That's awesome. Connecticut. All right.
Yep. And my email is on the screen. And you can contact me anytime, and I'll be more than happy to assist.
This is going on to iTunes too, so...
So NMIRZA at servicefirstmtg.com.
Awesome. Well, this has been a pleasure having you on the show, Naseem. Thanks for talking to us a lot about your previous experience in the real estate industry and how you can build confidence for your clients because of that background that you do have. So awesome. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you.
And we will see you guys on the next episode of Real Estate Pros.